Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gurvani Pracharini Nirvishesh Shunevadi Paschati Starini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay, let us also offer our pranam to Mahaprabhu. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prem Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha Anandalila Maya Vigrahaya Hema Pativyai Chavisundaraya Tasmai Mahaprem Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya-Chandraya Namo Namaste. Chaitanya-Chandraya Namo Namaste. So yesterday we read till here, and yesterday we discussed a lot of things. So to escape the entanglement of this material nature, one has to perform his duty. And what is the duty of every living entity? It is to surrender unto the Supreme Lord with intelligence, with devotion, and with sincere Krishna consciousness. A conditioned soul falsely thinks himself happy in the material world. We also saw the example that Mahaprabhu gave, how the prisoner is dunked into the water and then again brings the prisoner's head out. And that is how the happiness and distress or the sufferings are in this material world. It's always the sufferings that is there in this material world. And for few moments when the head is brought out of the water, then for those few moments we think we are very happy. So conditioned soul falsely thinks himself happy in the material world, but if he is favored by an unalloyed devotee, that means a pure devotee, someone who has unmotivated love for Krishna, and if that conditioned soul hears the unalloyed devotee's instructions, he gives up his desire for material enjoyment and becomes enlightened in Krishna consciousness. So if the conditioned soul who is falsely thinking himself to be very happy in this material world, making plans to settle, and doesn't worry about what is there beyond death of this material body, when such a person is also favored by an unalloyed devotee or the pure devotee of the Lord, like Srila Prabhupada is for all of us, our spiritual masters. And if that conditioned soul hears from this pure devotee the instructions of this pure devotee, then what happens? Such a person, the conditioned soul, he gives up his desire for material enjoyment. Material enjoyment means lower level of enjoyment. Actually, there is no enjoyment. There is only suffering, but so-called material enjoyment. So the desire that I want to enjoy this, I want to have this, I want to do this, all that desires are gone. And what happens? He becomes enlightened in Krishna consciousness. So he gets that higher taste and then he is delivered. As soon as one enters into Krishna consciousness, his desire for material enjoyment is at once vanquished and he gradually becomes free from the material entanglement. Then he's no more dependent on material material things. In the sense, he's free now. The soul is free from this entanglement. It then, for such a person, it doesn't matter who is insulting him, who is there with him or who is left and gone. All these things don't, it's not that they become heartless, they become emotionless. It is not that. But because they have because they have connected with the original source of all love and all bliss and all happiness, therefore these lower things does not affect or impact the person. There is no question of darkness where there is light, and Krishna consciousness is the light that dispels the darkness of material sense enjoyment. A Krishna conscious person is never under the false conception that he is one with God, knowing that he would not be happy working for himself. He engages all his energies in the service of the Supreme Lord. In the material world, what happens? We are constantly engaged in serving ourselves, in serving our selfish desires. But when somebody comes into Krishna consciousness with due to the knowledge, he understands that just by trying to make himself happy, he will not be happy. When we start engaging our energies, everything that is there, in the service of the Lord, in the service of the Supreme Lord, and by doing that, what happens is we get released from the clutches of the illusory material energy. This is illusory. This energy is illusory. Everything is illusion. We may think that by doing this we will be happy. After doing this, I will be happy. Or इतना मिल जाए, then I will be happy. Or थोड़ा सा थोड़े और marks मिल जाए, a student thinks I will be happy. For somebody who is working thinks, if I get little promotion, then after my income increases to that, then I will be happy. For somebody who is staying in a very small house will think little bit bigger house, I will be happy. What happens? This desire never ends. It is always little bit more, and therefore in that, due to that, that person can never be happy. Therefore, uh, when one comes in Krishna consciousness, this entanglement is cut off, and therefore he is released from the clutches of this illusion, the illusory material energy. And in this connection, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quoted a verse from Bhagavad Gita 7.14, where Krishna states, Devi hiesha gunamahi mama maya duratyaya mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. Daivi hyesha gunamai. My material energy, composed of the three modes of material nature, is very strong. Mama maya duratyaya. It is very difficult. Mama. Krishna is saying Mama maya. This is my material energy. And it is very strong. It is very difficult to escape the clutches of the material energy. Mam eva ye prapadyante. Prapadyante means to surrender. Mam means, again, Krishna is talking about himself. But one who surrenders unto me, unto Krishna, mayam etam tarantite. For that person, crossing this clutches of Maya becomes very easy. He can easily free himself from the clutches of Maya. Otherwise, it is impossible. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went on to teach that each and every moment the conditioned soul is engaged in some fruitive activity. He forgets his real identity. We are always constantly engaged in something or the other. And then we forget our real identity. What is that? What is our real identity? This is a question. Quiz question, surprise quiz. What is our real identity? Anybody can raise the hand. Okay, I know that I'll come to Lal Mohan Prabhu in the end if nobody else is answering. Anybody else wants to answer?
We are not the body, we are the soul.
Okay, okay, yes, correct. That is the real identity. We are not the body, we are the soul. And there is another identity. What is the identity of the soul? Okay, before that, somebody else has also raised the hands. I can't see that. All right, I'll unmute.
জীবেরও স্বরূপ হয় নিত্য কৃষ্ণদাস. The spirit soul is the servant, the eternal servant of Lord Sri Krishna.
Yes, very nice. So both of you are perfectly right. First is to understand that we are not the body, we are the soul, and then to understand that the soul's identity is eternally the servant of Krishna, whichever body we are in. So that is, but we forget about this because we are constantly engaged in some or the other fruitive activity. Sometimes when the soul, when the living entity, when he's tired of material activities, so many times we see some people, they come to a point when they say that अभी मैं थक चुका हूँ और मैं थक चुकी हूँ, I'm so tired, the same thing in my life, I'm seeing these same things and I'm so tired. And then he wants liberation. Now I want mukti, I want to meditate, and I want moksha, and I want this, these kind of talks. There, I have come across people, and here Srila Prabhupada is saying that then after when they become very tired of these material activities, then he wants liberation. And what happens? Then they start hankering to become one with the Supreme, because the concept is, if we become one with the Supreme, then we don't have to do any activity. That is laziness. We don't have to do any activity. We'll become one with the Supreme and stay there. But at other times, he thinks that by working hard to gratify his senses, he will be happy. So, mind is flickering. At one point, when there is reversals coming from all sides, or um, some difficult situations are coming, or when people are um, not being the way that I am expecting them to be, then what happens at times of depression? The soul starts thinking, or the person starts thinking, that now I'm very tired of all these material activities. What is the point of doing so much? किसी के लिए भी करो, कोई फायदा ही नहीं है, नेकी कर दरिया में डाल. These kind of thoughts start coming, and then one starts wanting to get liberation, and the thought comes that let us become one with God. And at other times, the mind says the person wants to do a lot of hard work. Why? Because if I do this much, then I will be able to have this pleasure. ये मिल जाएगा मुझे. So he thinks by doing all these things, by gratifying his senses, he will be happy. Then फिर मजा आएगा, फिर अच्छा होगा. Then there is no problem. But in both the cases, he is covered by the material energy. In both the cases, whether somebody wants liberation, become one with God, or whether somebody wants to gratify senses and be happy, both the cases are coverings of material energy, conditioning. For the enlightenment of such bewildered conditioned souls who are bewildered, now they don't have any direction, who are working under a false identification, the Supreme Lord Krishna has presented us with voluminous Vedic literature, and this includes the Vedas, the Purans, and the Vedanta Sutra. And what is Vedas? It is knowledge. Vedas is basically, it is knowledge. So knowledge about whom? Knowledge about the Supreme Lord. And why this knowledge is given? So that all these people who are covered under this false identification, they can take this knowledge, get benefited, and their bewildered mind can get a direction. For them, the Supreme Lord has presented all these voluminous Vedic literatures. These are all intended to guide the human being back to Godhead. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu further explained that when a conditioned soul is accepted by a spiritual master out of the spiritual master's mercy and is guided by the super soul. So, on one side, accepted by a bona fide spiritual master, and on the other side, there is guidance from Chaitya Guru. Inner guided by the super soul means when somebody sincerely follows the instructions of the bona fide spiritual master, they will also get direct guidance from the Chaitya Guru, Krishna seated within one's heart, that is super soul. Then the soul can take advantage of the various Vedic scriptures become enlightened, and make progress in spiritual realization. Without spiritual master, it is not possible. Without the spiritual master, even if we study all the Vedas, Purans, and everything, all that is there existing, we may not really make much progress. But when there is a bona fide spiritual master who accepts us as their disciple, and by their causeless mercy, they are also giving us instructions. It is very important. Without their instructions, what is the point? For sure, there will be one person who has accepted us as disciple. What is the point? So we have to also take their instructions. They will tell us what to do, what not to do. When we do that, then all these scriptures and that is there, all the essence will start. We will be able to understand the essence of it. That is when we will get enlightened. That is when our the enlightenment will dawn upon us, basically. Otherwise, it is very difficult. We may take millions and millions of lifetimes, or may just go on, but it is very difficult. Then the soul can take advantage of the various Vedic scriptures, become enlightened, and then make progress in the spiritual realization. It is because Lord Krishna is always merciful to his devotees that he has presented all this Vedic literature by which one can understand his relationship with Krishna, with the Supreme Lord himself, and by this the living entity can act on the basis of that relationship. Okay, this is my relationship, so I should behave like this, I should do this, I should not do that. So do's and don'ts. In this way, one is gifted with the ultimate goal of life, the ultimate goal of getting a life, or the human body, or any body that we have got. The ultimate goal is to actually um, develop love of God. We are meant to be always happy, but we are sad because we have lost that connection. So when we revive that connection, we will again be placed in our original form, that is eternally happy and blissful. Because we are constantly, when somebody loves the Supreme Lord is present in within all the living entities. Such a person will be able to love everyone unconditionally. Therefore, the pure devotees are able to love all the living entities um, without any partiality. Their love for each and every living entity is unconditional, and that is only possible when somebody can love Krishna unconditionally. And therefore the pure devotees are so dear to Krishna, and they are also so dear to all humanity, because they just come to deliver the nitya baddhas, people like us who are eternally bound by this material energy. So um, hmm. Actually, every living entity is destined to understand his relationship with the Supreme Lord and ultimately to reach him. The execution of duties to attain this perfection is known as devotional service. The execution of duties to attain this perfection is known as devotional service. And in maturity, such devotional service becomes love of God, Krishna Prem, which is the true goal or ultimate purpose of life for each and every living being. The living entity should not desire success in religious rituals, some havan, some yagya, all these things, or economic development, or sense enjoyment, or even liberation. This should not be our desire, these things. One should desire only to achieve the stage of transcendental loving service to the Lord. That is pure Krishna consciousness. The all attractive features of Lord Krishna help one to attain the stage of pure devotional service. And one who engages in the preliminary practices of Krishna consciousness can ultimately realize the relationship between himself and Krishna. So when we see the form of Lord Krishna, we should actually uh, of course, first is we offer our obeisances, and we should glorify Lord Krishna when we see the form in the temple, or if in our altar. When we see, we should appreciate every detail, how beautifully the devotees in the temple, they do the shringar, and the Lord looks so beautiful. So when our focus is on all these details, that is when our mind starts getting attracted to the Supreme Lord Krishna. And due to that attraction, all the other attractions start going away. Unnecessary attractions, they start going away. That doesn't mean that we become insensitive, non-emotional, and we don't care for the family. It is not that. In fact, when somebody is really focused in Krishna consciousness, they are even more careful in performing their duties properly, because they understand that everything that they are doing is to please Krishna. And all the family members that are there, they are all actually sent by Krishna to me. Whether it is the spouse, the parents, the children, the siblings, whoever, everyone is sent by Krishna to us. We are all his children, and therefore, when we really are attracted and when we are really um, sincere in this practice of Krishna consciousness, we become sincere in every aspect of life. We become better in every aspect of life. So, and then by doing this preliminary practice of Krishna consciousness, what happens is we come to the point where we are able to attain pure devotional service. So, what happens next? We'll continue reading tomorrow. So, Hare Krishna. Krishna willing, we'll continue tomorrow again. Vanchakalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रील जय पताका स्वामी गुरु महाराज की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि
हरि
बोल।
बोल।
हरि बोल।
श्यामा करुणामयी माता जी की जय।
जय हरि हरि बोल।
हरि बोल।
हरि बोल।
I'm just seeing the chats actually, so I did not end the call. Okay. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.